Are you ready?
Don't make me cry, John.
Don't cry yet. We have a whole hour to get to it. Jon Peckman Podcast. Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, in beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one light, start looking left. That's who we are. You can find us everywhere that podcasts are heard. You can also find us on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe for whatever reason. I don't know what that's going to do for us, but we're going to find out. We're here today with a good friend of mine, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, Al Guimaraes. There he is.
There I am. Thank you.
Live and in person.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, of course. Yeah, man.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So Al, in my world, and then he can tell about his world. In my world, I've known a few. I literally am thinking of 3 people that are legit prolific songwriters, and you're one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
something.
A writer of songs.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well, it's true.
Huh?
You don't seem to ever be stopping or not.
No,
That's
never at a loss for an idea.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a cool
I
thing.
think so.
How did it all start? So anyway, talk about so you write and record a nice studio setup at home that I do a lot of work with.
Yep.
I will pretty much play everything, and then I'll put drums on it. Sometimes we might have other people. And then those things can be found or heard where?
They can be heard. I've got them on YouTube and Spotify and the website and whatnot, albinotree.com. If you look on Spotify and you do a search for the albino tree, one word.
Yep.
I make it difficult.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, you can find it all out there, and I'm always doing something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just churning it out and putting it out there.
Yeah, it's a joy.
For who? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's kind of the reason why I play music, instruments, is so that I could do songs.
Yeah, right.
And make songs. So, that's always been first in my mind, is to create.
Yeah.
And, so I learned to play the piano so that I could play a song.
Right, as opposed to
guitar.
what many of us do, we learn so that we can play a cover gig forever.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, not to say I haven't
Sure.
done my fair share of cover gigs, which I also enjoy too, because it's also songs. And like you,
Yeah.
you're very much into songs, as you know.
Yeah.
And but you can do all the other things too. Yeah.
When did it all start? When did you realize that, like, oh, hey, songs are written and I can do it?
I've always loved, like, my earliest memories are all related to songs. Like, being in kindergarten and hearing "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" or
Sure.
"My Eyes Adored You" by Frankie Valli.
Sure.
Like, all these songs are just all the AM radio stuff. So I grew up listening to that. And
Grew up where?
Mamaroneck, New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Westchester County.
Okay.
I moved up to Avon in 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Why Avon? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was working in the city I do computer stuff, and I was working in the city for a .com startup that kind of went under. And so, I was married at the time, and we had our second child on the way, and we wanted to find a place that was kind of more affordable and all that. So we ended up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So growing up in Mamaroneck, listening to AM radio.
Yeah.
And then how did it happen? You were just like, oh, hey, on guitar? Because I know you to play guitars and keys.
Yeah.
What came first?
So guitar, certainly. And it came late. I didn't start until my junior year of college.
Oh, wow.
Is when I actually started really legit playing.
Yeah.
When I was in 3rd grade, I think my mom got me lessons for. I had this old classical guitar that my Aunt Leslie gave me.
Yeah.
And so, I went to Mr. Caruso down the street.
Yeah, sure.
To a music store shop, not unlike this, and hated it. I did it for 3 months, and it was you know, E, F, F, and I just, you know, I had no interest in it.
Yeah.
So put away the guitar, and, you know, I always loved music, always listened to it, and was totally into it. And then at school, I happened to be in the lunchroom one day, and I got a call, you know, kind of a cattle call saying, "Hey, we need help setting up Spring Fling concert. Anybody?"
What grade?
This was my junior year of college.
Okay. Oh, wow.
In the spring, right before my birthday, the day before my birthday. And so I said, yeah, I can come help. So I went out to the gym and ended up setting up a concert for the Alarm, who came.
Oh.
And it was the Alarm and this band called Face to Face.
The Alarm. What was their song?
68 Guns or The Stand.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, at the time it was the Eye of the Hurricane
Come
album.
On down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I went and set up, and so I was inside, you know, a roadie more or less for the day, and they had such conviction of what they were doing, and I had, you know, been very much into songs and writing, and just to see the way that they carried themselves, and there was a situation where they had fans come to this, and it was a private concert.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't going to let all these fans in to the concert because it was a private show. So they refused. I was sitting there in the hallway, and, you know, they refused to play. Like, you know, they put it down there. We're not playing.
Our fans.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
They're from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
I kind of went away from that saying, I want to write songs, you know. I got to learn to play because I was so inspired. So I went, you know, home for the spring break and brought back that guitar my Aunt Leslie gave me, you know, and started playing. And
now you're like EF. Now I got to find out what.
Exactly. I got the 100 greatest rock, you know, 100 greatest hits for easy guitar.
Yeah.
You know, and the first one was, of course, Horse with No Name, because you don't have to, you know, you don't have to really do anything. So that kind of kicked it off, and, you know, people would always be saying, "Oh, geez, he's playing the guitar again," you know.
Oh,
because
so
I was terrible.
That guy.
You know, you're terrible for a long time.
Oh.
So I.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I started.
A junior in college.
Junior in college.
You just crammed. You learned. Did you learn all 100 of them? Like,
some of them were.
I gave up on 47.
Yeah, some of them were too hard. You know, like what's that? Arthur's Theme. You know, there were some that were a little tough. But then I circled back to them after I got, you know, my fingers working.
Do you think you know all 100 of them now? If
I
we had
could
the book,
play
could we
all
just
100.
open it up and
Yeah.
This one?
Well, that's what I'm used to doing, is reading and playing, you know, because
Yeah.
for the cover gigs that I do, I like to play a variety of tunes.
Yeah.
And not common tunes,
Sure.
as you know, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
you bust
where
out Supertramp or something. That's what most people don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the, you know, playing the covered gigs from the iPad came to me, because I've always wanted to play with, you know, excellent musicians.
Yeah.
So the way that you play with them is, you know, they are too busy often to rehearse. So I had to kind of learn to just wing it.
Oh, nice. So you're reading chord charts. You're just like,
right. Boom. And that's why that came about, cool. Because I didn't want to be locked into playing the same repertoire.
Yeah.
You know, that you can name them, like Can't You See and
Mustang
blah, blah, blah,
Sally,
you know, all that. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. They're great songs.
Sure.
But, you know, they're tired.
Yeah. They're tired.
So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to feel like? So, were you geared towards a gig at this point, or you just like, I just want to learn as much, and you didn't know where you were going?
I wasn't sure where I was going. I know that I wanted to write and play songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was graduating, you know, I was thinking, I have a degree in economics and financial management, but I went to Catholic University in Washington, D.C., and they made you take religion and philosophy.
Okay.
So I got a minor in philosophy, which just, you know, changed everything. So after I got out, I'm like, what do I really want to do with it?
Yeah, right.
You know, I had to find a purpose.
What does it mean to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my favorite little. I was in the Philosophy Honor Society, which I think is hysterical. But that's
really. You're the best at philosophy.
Yeah. So
That's
so,
cool though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Uh-huh.
But as I was graduating, I had this offer to work for the IRS, and the big thing for them was, hey, we did the Rolling Stones taxes last year, and I was like, oh, great,
Yeah.
So, I kind of pushed that aside and tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and I went back and got an associate's degree in music.
Oh wow.
At the local community college, and I was working as a waiter
Okay.
in my aunt's restaurant. And one day she called me over.
Is this Aunt Lindsay of the
No,
guitar?
it's
Different one or whoever?
Not Aunt Leslie.
Leslie.
This is Aunt Maureen.
Okay, all right.
My other aunt. So I went to her. She said, "Hey, this was a Tuesday night."
Yeah.
Said, "There's these two people. They're music people. Why don't you come over and meet them? So bring your guitar." So I brought my guitar. I could still barely play.
Yeah.
This is 2 years into it, and it turned out that they were Rose Marino and George Marino. George Marino being Sterling Sound, and
sure.
Rose Marino
Mastering engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Rose being Clive Davis's assistant.
Oh wow.
So
There
we
you
started
are.
talking, and excuse me, they were super nice people, fantastic. And I told her that I was interested in being in the music business and so on. And I remember to this day her saying, "Are you sure you want to be in the music business?
Watch out, kid."
Right? Are you sure? She said, "There's a lot of
She would know.
Yeah.
Clive Davis.
But she said there's also very nice people there."
Sure.
So she caveated, and I said, "Yeah." So, she said, "Oh, I'll try and help you if I can." So, didn't hear anything, and I was working for Herbert Barrett Management, which was classical artist management.
Okay. And you're doing balancing books, or you're doing something financial?
No. At this point, I kind of left the economics, financial management, and I was just doing whatever. We worked at a Koch International, which was a distributor,
Okay.
like music distribution,
Yeah.
on Long Island. And I was there where I got the call, hey, come down to Capitol Records. We have an interview for you. And this was through Rose had gotten me an interview at Capitol Records to get in the mailroom.
Wow, so she did remember you.
She did.
Yeah,
she did. And
that's cool.
I gave her a big plant as a thank you. I don't think it was a ficus, but it was something.
Yeah.
So I went down there, and I was overqualified, so to speak. But the guy who was running the mailroom, he's like, this guy's he's overqualified for this. But she made him hire me, and I became friends with him. He was a nice guy, and so I worked there for a year in the Capitol EMI on 810 7th Avenue.
Wow.
It was a time of Crowded House Woodface.
Okay.
Liverpool Oratorio.
Okay.
Paul McCartney. So I went to see that.
Wow.
At Carnegie Hall.
Wow. So what year?
93.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, I think it was 93. And I was working.
And you thought this is the beginning of my music career?
Yeah. Well,
From the mailroom, I'm going to own this.
Right. Well, you do that. You hear all the stories. You got to get in the mailroom. I'd go around and meet everybody. And
well, hey, you already met somebody that got you that gig.
Yeah.
So these things happen.
So I had made a bunch of contacts within EMI.
Yeah.
And downstairs there was a woman named Yvonne Hondras, who's still a friend of mine.
Okay.
Who she was a talent scout for Chrysalis Publishing, music publishing.
Okay.
And they had a satellite office, like renting space there, because there's some kind of affiliation. And so I was good friends with her. And what happened is SBK Records came in and kind of took over EMI Capital.
Okay.
And just as I was getting to know the people and in a position to, hey, it's time for me to move into something, they fired everybody. They came in and literally fired.
This is like what you hear about.
Yeah. It was just a bloodletting, and they just got rid of everybody.
Yeah.
So all my contacts were now just trying to fend for themselves. So,
oh boy.
So what turned out, I took a layoff package from Capitol Records, got like 3 months severance, which I thought was
it's great.
This fantastic. Yeah. And then I got a job as an understudy talent scout at Chrysalis Music Publishing.
Okay.
So I did that for like a year and a half.
Wow.
And at that time I was gotten serious with my wife, and or my to-be wife, and you know, I could kind of see that where I was going with the music thing. I was kind of losing my love for the passion for the music and the songs.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, sure.
And I also knew
because you're
that,
like seeing how the sausage is made, so to speak.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I knew that you could be really good at what you do and still not be able to survive.
Sure.
No, and this is in the business side. Of
All
things,
our
right?
favorite stuff.
Right. It's on the business side as well as the talent side. You know.
Sure.
So there was a lot of luck and where you are, who you know, and all that. And I wanted to find something where you do an honest day's work, you get an honest day's pay,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
you can count on that. And my thought was, well, if I do that, then I can keep my music kind of pure.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's not having to
Not
it's
unheard
not
of.
having to feed me, and
Right.
and I can continue to do what I love to do as a passion. And that's what I've done since.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable.
I was just
Well, I'm just saying,
I was going to use that exact word, reasonable.
Well, you saw it. I mean, a lot of us don't see it,
Yeah.
so we keep chasing the dream.
Well, I got close enough,
Yeah,
like,
that you just thought that the odds are not
yeah.
that good.
I mean, when I was a talent scout, I got a song, not my own song, but one of our writers, In Vogue covered. I got that. There, I had sent one of our writers, who was actually the president of the company's wife, was a writer.
Okay.
And she wrote a song with Prince. And I sent the song to the Muppets.
Wow. So you're having all these ideas?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could have started the whole craze of, Muppets covering contemporary songs and whatnot.
But no,
But, well,
they didn't.
I kind of got pushed out of it because I remember to this day getting the call at my house from the man I sent it to, and him just being so excited that this is a great idea, so on and so forth. And then the next thing I know, he turned out to be friends with the big boss at our company, and all of a sudden I wasn't involved in it
Oh, right.
anymore.
It was like, thanks, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of one of the things that happened where I was saying, well, I've got this, idea, and yet I can still be
Yeah, marginalized.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then the last thing was right before I left, I went to a show of one of my Desert Island records.
All right.
Band called the Health and Happiness Show. They were playing at the Wetlands.
Okay.
And it was a CD release party for the album
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to talk about. And it was a double bill. Them, Dave Matthews Band,
Oh, right.
Health and Happiness Show, and Dave
Right, right.
Matthews Band.
Sure,
so
sure.
this is before
Sure.
Dave Matthews was Dave Matthews.
Sure.
And so I came back to my boss, Yvonne. I'm like, I saw this thing last night, and it was something.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
To
yeah.
this day,
But
I
Right, sure. I agree.
But,
But it is
this
a thing.
is something.
Yeah, sure.
And to this day, she's like,
Yeah, you were there.
believe
You
that.
saw it. Yeah.
yeah. But she was really into. She had signed to Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
And my boss was more into the kind of the LA stuff, and he'd always joke a bit about like I was wearing a jacket kind of like this,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a leather jacket.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was more kind of earthy.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
it was a I don't want to say missed opportunity, but it was
Well-
I felt like knowing all that, I'm like, all right, I
You
was
saved
good at my job.
yourself a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
Well,
good at my job.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the day-to-day? So a talent scout.
Yeah.
What's your day-to-day? What's that like?
It was a strange setup there because we had a after EMI
Yeah.
collapsed.
Yeah.
She kind of got kicked out
Yeah.
of the offices, so we had a set up at the Hippodrome building, I believe, right
Yeah.
there in 6th Avenue.
Oh.
So we had just like a rental office,
yeah.
and so I would go in there and go through tapes that were submitted, just listen to some just absolutely crazy stuff. And every once in a while you'd find something.
So
that
people are
was really
sending tapes.
special.
They know where to send things,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there.
Yeah, and it's kind of coming in, and there's just a box of cassettes.
They go
and
go
stuff
through
that-
these and find the new Springsteen.
exactly,
Whatever.
exactly.
Wow.
He's never in there.
Yeah.
He's never in there.
Did you ever? Who knows? Did you ever?
There was some crazy. I have a tape
Yeah.
of both the best and the worst stuff that I found.
Right.
I'll have to share
So
that
you
with you
started
sometime.
you were like,
Yeah.
I got to start.
There
paying
were some
attention.
things that were just
dire.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well-
there's some stuff that was just terrific too. That
Yeah.
that never made it anywhere.
So
for
you
whatever reason.
left that scenario
Yeah.
and did what?
So
Kind of got your act together a little more.
yeah, I ended up, being a town scout on Friday and Monday morning, putting in jet fuel pipe at Kennedy Airport. Wow. I had a friend of our family's had a industrial plumbing company, and needed somebody.
So even a gig like that, it's who you know.
Yeah,
Even that.
so it's all who you know. It's all who you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's that. I ended up,
You don't
literally.
regret it in the end.
No, I ended up getting into like project management, and
Yeah.
then that project management. I'm like organized person,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a lot of lists.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So that's kind of helped me
Sure.
in everything,
Yeah.
songwriting,
Yeah.
and recording, and
Yeah.
everything. So I did that. I worked on jet fuel pipe at Kennedy Airport. Worked with the unions, like local 1 and 2. It's
Yep.
the whole different thing.
You managed to not catch a pair of cement shoes.
Yeah.
Pretty
Although,
good.
yeah, I've got all kinds of stories. I can tell you.
I bet.
All kinds of stories. Yeah, I did that, and I worked in the New York City subways,
Oh, wow.
revamping pump stations. So I literally walk down the tracks and stand against the wall as the trains would go by.
Whoa.
So I got to see a bunch of stuff. And
Crazy.
then what happened there, I know this is not music related,
Wow.
but I discovered that I had like kind of an affinity for computers.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wasn't an engineer by schooling,
Sure.
there's only so far I can go in an engineering world.
Okay.
But in computers, there wasn't any.
It was
It was
wide
Wild
open.
West.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I got into that, and that's to
Yeah.
what I do to this day
Wow.
as a profession.
That's cool. Does the thing that the talent scout scenario that you left, does it still exist? That thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. So you
to
never
some
even
degree,
look back. I just wonder, like her outfit, that thing. Does it still exist?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that we would do is we'd have staff writers, right? And so our staff, and this is Chrysalis Music Publishing, and we'd have the staff writers that would have songs. And back in the day, you'd get, like a magazine
Yeah.
every week that was sent out industry-wide
Okay.
of people looking for songs.
Okay.
Right, so it would be like
Mac Davis.
BMG has this artist they're looking for.
Where did I pull Mac
Davis.
Davis from?
Yeah. He used to have a TV show. You remember that? The Mac Davis show?
I do.
And
I
he
do.
used to make up, right?
Yeah.
And he used to make up songs on the spot. That was Mac
I don't
Davis,
remember
right?
that.
Brought him out of the audience.
Yeah.
Mac
and
Davis.
he's like, give me, tell me your favorite color.
Yeah.
And then he'd make up
Jenny's
a
a
song.
Scorpio.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just make up something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about John Davidson later. Let's
Yeah,
save
it's
that.
John Davidson. I like those guys.
So your job was there's a feeder system, people looking for songs,
Yeah.
and there's a box of tapes.
Right, and that's how I ended up with the Muppets thing, because I said the Muppets are looking, I read the Muppets are looking for music for an exercise video. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, well, hey,
Hey, someone's
let's
got a
get
song
Prince.
called.
Let's send Prince over there. So that's how, that was the other thing I did besides looking for, boxes of
Yeah.
cassettes. and
Try to
whatnot.
connect things together.
Jeffrey Gaines was another one that
Okay.
was
Yep.
at the time, and I was trying to help him because he had this one particular song that was called "What It Is,"
Okay.
and I'm like, that's a hit song. So I was trying to get him
That
covered.
would be good for Sesame Street. What is it? What
Yeah.
it is? What it is?
What
What
it
it
is,
is? or Whatever.
Yeah, so I tried to help him a bit, but there was tension between his management and the publishing company, and I went out to help him of my own accord
Yeah.
because I really liked him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it turned out that they were mad at my company, so they kind of just brushed me aside
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they
They want to hear about from you.
Yeah, because they were feeling like, well, who's this peon that is out here? But meanwhile, I was actually
You got all the ideas.
and I was really interested to help.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So that must
live and learn.
just another thing where you're just like, this business is too weird.
Yeah,
Far
Yeah.
out. So then so in the middle, during all of this, you become,
Yep.
when did you
Started
start writing? Like when were you writing the whole time during all of this career?
Yeah.
Thing?
During all that career, I was writing, and I wrote a couple songs with Yvonne, who I worked with, and
Okay.
and I had started writing songs probably very soon after I picked up the guitar.
Wow. Yeah.
In my junior year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and I had a lot of those first songs that people write. The easiest thing is to kind of write about the pain and the sorrow and
Sure.
all that, kind of get it out.
Sure.
And so I had this whole
Yeah, right.
this whole song song cycle about dealing with
Yeah.
coming to awareness and all this. And
A
so I
rock
played it
opera.
for her exactly, kind of. And so she's like, yeah, it's good. It's like, it was very confessional
Sure.
and but a little too much so.
Yeah.
And then I remember writing this one song that I have. It's called House on the Hill, and I played that for her. And that was the first. She said, "Now that is something that I would buy
Okay.
because it's a more positive. It's like it's not written. It's from you, but
Right.
it's not only
a
you.
little more universal.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where like it kind of clicked in my mind. Like, oh, I see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
Far out.
that was the first one that kind of clicked as okay, this is what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then I kept doing that, and then I started a duo with a good friend of mine from high school. Went to college with a guy who played keyboards, and he was kind of always wanted to be in a band also. And the two of us got together, and we just kind of clicked and started this duo called Barley and Hops.
Okay.
So we played all the standard
Sure.
acoustic guitar
Yeah.
bar covers.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was working, like I just said, with Chrysalis and at this time, and started playing some solo gigs and whatnot. And then some local guys that had played all through high school, like such as yourself, like the guys that were like the
Sure.
local legends, if you
yeah.
will. I got exposed to some of them with some of the songs, and they really liked those. And so we did some recording and,
Cool.
played some original gigs, which was fun.
Yeah. It's kind of awesome. So you're writing songs, and then because I also must say, in all of my whatever years of recording, like you're really effective. Like your home studio setup, like you really, I'm trying to think of how to say it so that people understand, like you really know what you're doing. Like, you're not a novice at this at all. I don't feel like, you know what I mean? When did that start? Because,
It started early on because I was creating songs.
Yeah.
I needed to document them.
Yeah.
So I remember having a Tascam cassette.
Yeah, right. So you
4-track
started
thing.
at the beginning.
So I started with all that. I had an ADAT, and it kind of went along. Then I got Cakewalk.
Yep.
And had a miserable time with a PC and recording, and then moved on to a Mac, and then it was like the sky opened up. Like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to work.
So you just moved along with recording.
Yeah, and kept recording and like learning about mics and learning about I actually worked at a recording studio for classical music for a little while when I was doing that associate's degree. So I've been done all different types of stuff.
Yeah. So you as a recordist or whatever.
Yeah.
That developed along the way.
Yeah, and it was all based on the fact that I loved songs and was writing songs and needed to document them and create them. And like that's why I play the piano. That's why I play the drums if I need to play the drums. And I just do it it's all based on the songs.
Yeah.
It's in service of the song.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
that's a way to do it for sure. When did you go from guitar to keys? When did that happen?
When I did that duo, it was with a keyboard player. So
Right.
I learned to play like one song on the
Yeah,
keyboard
yeah.
then, so I would just do my little song. But I always wanted to play them. And then when I really, really started playing was, seriously, was I was doing that IT startup world.
Sure.
And we moved up here, and then I did some real estate stuff around. And then some of the guys that I initially came up here to work with went out to Seattle to do a startup.
Okay.
And they called me one day and said, "Hey, you want to come out and do this startup with us?" So I said, "Sure," because I was at a point where I needed to do something. So we rented our house, rented a house out in Seattle, and I went out to live there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
When we came back, it was at the point where we had not a lot of furniture, and I decided that I wanted a baby grand piano. So like we had a living room, and to my wife's credit, allowed us to get this baby grand piano, and that's where I started to play it.
Wow.
Because I absolutely loved it. So I got this used piano.
Yeah, sure.
And
this is what I'm going to do.
So I've that.
So that's where you went at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love the feel of it and the sound of it.
Sure.
And so that's how I've been teaching myself piano.
Learned every chord.
Yeah. So that's about 9 years.
Oh wow.
Or so.
That's cool.
So
like guitar, you could just read a chord chart and just kind of blast through it.
Yeah. Guitar, I'm much more comfortable because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Piano, I still get nervous, and it's been interesting because if I go out and do a gig with piano, I haven't been doing them that long.
Yeah.
And there can be times where I kind of forget, I freeze up, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
So it was interesting to go back to that point of being a novice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
trying to figure out how to. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And that's it. Any other instruments like you just
harmonica?
Mm-hmm. Kind of learning
bass.
that.
I've been doing bass a lot.
Yeah.
With the most recent recordings because of COVID and everything. Not being able to get together with everybody.
You're just like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, so I'll we'll do our tracks.
Yeah.
I'll play acoustic guitar, scratch, and a vocal scratch, and then you'll come in and we'll work out the drums, and then I'll go back and redo myself to you, and then add a bass, and then send it out to some of the other people we play with, like Joe Boyle or Bill Holloman.
Bill Holloman again.
Fantastic.
All the dots connected.
Fantastic players.
Yeah. Oh,
that's one of the joys of my life, is to do the scratch on a song, and then you come in and then make it alive with the drums, and then I send it to Joe, and Joe will send it back with guitar parts.
Yeah.
And then I'll send it to Bill, and Bill will send it back with parts, and it's just like the whole thing just blossoms. It's just fantastic. It's like Christmas every time.
Yeah, right.
Well,
it's fun. No, we appreciate the opportunities too, because it's like, we've had this conversation. I'm sure you don't feel this way entirely, like you're over it, but it's like, you're not one of the cats because you're not a player,
right?
Whatever that means. But I always say, but if people didn't write songs, there'd be nothing to play on.
Yeah.
So it's as much, it's not just.
Well, you could always play "Can't You See" or.
Yeah, right. Right. So, but it's always fun to create something.
Yeah.
Out of nothing.
I think so.
Dave's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without songwriters, there would be no songs. Yeah. And there wouldn't be opportunities to figure things out.
There's a great quote, one of my favorites from Dylan, who's obviously fantastic. But I was reading this Song Talk interview he did, and he was saying that somebody was asking about songs, and he said there's enough songs in the world.
Yeah.
No, we don't need. You've got 10 songs for every person. You never need to write another song ever. The world does not need any more songs. Unless, he said, somebody comes along with an open heart and something to say, then there's always room for more songs, you know. That's paraphrasing him. You know, that kind of clicked with me, like, that's that's kind of the approach that I take with the songs. I mean, I take it seriously, and it's, you know, like, I'd like to say that I'm trying to save the world with every song, you know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, you know, that's a ridiculous statement, but...
Yeah, there's no hope for the world. We're never going to save it.
But, I mean, that's the thing is, you know, like, it's to really put yourself into it and not...
Right, you're not banging them out.
You're kind of serving the idea of the song and, you know, trying to do something positive.
Right.
You know, put it on the positive side of things and not the kind of negative, snarky, you know, approach to stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, at least if you still have I mean, you're not a hack, so you're not writing to order.
Yeah.
Which is one, because that's sometimes I think about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we hear a lot of everything now. So I hear more passionate stuff and then just hear more hack work. But sometimes, I'll hear a song and I'll go, you couldn't sleep and had to wake up out of a dead sleep to write that?
Yeah.
You know, and you just realize sometimes people are just writing to write as opposed to, like you say, if you have a genuine idea, then it's time to write instead of, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Just banging it out.
Absolutely. I was, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about, what should I talk about when I come over here and all that. And one of the things was, you know, I don't, you're talking about the songs there. I don't write songs so that I can have something to play on stage.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. The process.
I go on stage because I have these songs that I want to share.
Right.
And it's not easy for me to go on stage. Like, I am not comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and on stage and that whole thing. But I do it because, like, and I sing because, again, like, I learned to sing because who else is going to sing these songs?
Yeah, right.
Right? So, like, that's my approach to recording and
Sure.
singing and guitar. It's like,
It's
I have these songs and I need to give them life.
Right. And because of that, it's just you. It's a genuine expression. You're not... I hope it to be. Well, it's not like you, man, I picture myself on stage being Mr. Cool. I better write some songs so I can get myself on that stage. You're like the opposite.
Yeah. I like that. And that's to say that all my songs aren't completely serious. I mean, there's humor in them.
We'll get to that.
You know, I think that there's humor, there's truth in, you can deliver truth and humor, you know, a lot more than direct.
Yeah, sure.
Direct. You know, so you got a little sugar with the vinegar.
Well, you're as you know, not all the time. I don't know what the ratio is, but oftentimes. So the scenario will be, Al will call me up and go, you know, I got 2 songs, I got 3 songs or whatever. We set up a date, and I don't always, but, you know, I try not to be too prepared.
Yeah.
So I don't ask to hear it beforehand because at least you trust me enough to come up with something on the day.
Yeah.
But like what invariably happened, I show up at Al's and he's got the lyrics out and we listen to the song, and at least 50% of the time the song will be completely goofy in the cleverest way. And I'll get halfway through the song and I'll just be like, you're shot. Like funny, like funny and like, yeah, just hilarious. Like you don't know till you get towards the end of the song. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, where the whole thing kind of comes.
Yeah, well, you look at the title and you're like, what's this all about? And then, a lot of times I'll just be like, you're shot. Like, what's this all about? So, which brings us to, I guess, you want to talk about the trilogy. The thing that the
thing I've been working on?
That will be, this is funny.
Before I do.
Where do you hear this?
Before I do, I would say, and this is, you know, in all honesty, of all the musicians, drummers that I've played with, and worked with and recorded with. You
yeah.
by far have the sensitivity that is unparalleled.
Oh, I'm very sensitive. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, very sensitive. Yeah. So it just, the way that you approach it and listen and it's just phenomenal.
Wow,
So
thank you.
anyway,
I appreciate it.
there you
We
go.
don't have to talk about that, but
Don't want to fanboy you.
no, it's fine. I like a challenge. I mean, I like to try to figure out.
You like songs.
Yeah, I like songs.
That's
and
why we get along.
Yeah. And like I say too, for whatever it's worth, and this goes a long way. I mean, I can't say I've had a lot of bad experiences, but I like to think it would be like this, if it weren't me or whatever. But we have a really good flow in the studio because you're on it.
Yeah.
Like it's very efficient, and like we're always right on the same page, which makes it fun and interesting to do because it's not like there's not a lot of waiting around or a lot of things going wrong or not there. It's very focused, and I appreciate that because it's like we can like get some things done.
Yeah.
Because we're both on the same page a lot.
Absolutely.
Which is nice. I like working like that.
Yeah, that big long monster song we did, the Liverpool thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
that
which I
too.
did the video for it. Like that was one of the funnest recordings
That was crazy.
that we did.
And then you
because-
became a video editor
Yeah.
in service of the thing. Too,
Exactly.
right?
So it's
And
another
you pick
reason.
up all these
Right,
skills.
Right. That's how I learned that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but that song was
Yeah, it's the
a
ultimate
riot.
Beatle nerd song
Yeah.
of the universe. Every Beatle reference. I
Yeah.
remember you were like, so here's the thing. Give me as many Beatle drum quotes as you can possibly, everything.
Yeah.
Every
Put it all
opportunity.
in there. Yeah.
Okay, so you just listen and go, okay, this fill would go with the, it's
Yeah.
just the whole thing.
Here's Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, yeah,
Here's here's the big Ringo solo on the Abbey Road side too.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
It's all in there.
It's phenomenal.
That's funny.
It's a riot.
Yeah,
That was so fun to do.
Yeah, that's a riot. Yeah, the Beatle epic, and then you made a video. Then he makes a video
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
It's like a 15-minute movie.
Yeah, we got a link. We got a link to that.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
We'll put it.
I'll put it in the thing. Yeah, that was a riot.
So that was a big one. So
Yeah.
tell me about that quick. I don't want to run out of time. You went to.
So that one, I went to. I was. My job takes me around.
Is that me? Oh, that's the front door.
Yeah.
Never mind. Someone's broken.
My job, fortunately, has taken me a lot of different places.
Sure.
I was doing work in Newcastle where I was there. I got a residence card because I was there so frequently.
Oh, wow.
And on the week, I would be there for 10 days in a row, and I would go to a different city
Yep.
on the weekends. One of them was Liverpool because I wanted,
Why not?
I'm not like, I don't collect autographs, and I'm
Sure.
not like into that, but I wanted to see where these guys were from.
I would.
So I went and did the whole Beatle thing. I went on a tour, and I was literally the only person in the bus with this guy. So he gave me this little personal tour. Stevie T. He's actually in the video.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That we did.
Yeah.
Mop Top Tours, it was called.
Okay.
Fantastic. I advise anybody to
shout
do
out.
it.
Yeah.
Right. And the song was about my experience that day, and I was sitting on a bench looking at the Vic, where they used to go for beers, and I was just kind of sitting there listening to some music, and these guys came by, and they were drunk, and they ended up kind of trying to tuck an empty 6-pack under my feet.
Oh, boy.
So I kind of turned around and looked at them, and I asked them what was going on or whatever, and they started joking, and I started joking back with them, and it turns out they invited me to the birthday party. So I went to the birthday party, and, this was after doing the Beatle thing all day. So
you're like fully Liverpool immersion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this, I'm going to write this all down. And so I had written it down, and I had it for many years. And in the beginning of COVID started, and I started, maybe a little bit before I started working on it. And so from all my experiences there, I put together this song. And then after I finished writing it, it had all these fragments. And I said, well, from one day it occurred to me like, well, if it's kind of a Beatles tribute, maybe you just make it like the
Abbey Road side too.
Right? And like after I did that, the whole thing just kind of fell out.
Perfect.
And then we got together and did that recording.
Yep.
Which makes me laugh to this day.
Which is called?
It's called Pilgrimage to Macca.
That's right. Yeah.
Pilgrimage to Macca. Yeah, a hard day's night to remember. It was the subtitle of the video.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, the trilogy. Hurry up.
The trilogy.
Oh man.
So this is another COVID thing. This is another
this
COVID
is
thing.
funny.
This
is what you're going to be remembered for. You mark my words.
I think
this is
possible.
You're going somewhere with this.
Possible. So I have this. I started. It was 2:00 in the morning. COVID. Early COVID, and I had my nylon string guitar and I started strumming this like New York City subway Peruvian thing. Yeah. And Spanish started coming out. So I started singing this.
Spanish?
I don't speak Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I took it in high school and a little bit in college, but I would certainly say I'm not fluent.
Okay.
But I know the word Diablo and some other ones, right? Sure. So I started singing this song in Spanish, and the next thing I know, I had this concept for the song. Went to Google Translate and, figured it out and put this song together. And it was interesting to put a song together in a language you don't know, as crazy as it sounds,
sure,
because of the phrasing is different.
Yeah, right.
So I ended up with this song that I wouldn't have come up if I was writing it in English.
Right, sure.
And so I had this concept also, and it's a concept of how, it's a relationship between the devil and God, and how, the devil's kind of getting the better of God, and then he kind of turns the table on the devil at the end. So it's a happy story. So that developed into a second song idea, and I wrote that one. And then, it's a 4-song trilogy because there's kind of a sorbet in the middle between the two devil gets the better of God songs, and then
there's a palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the conclusion.
And then the final song where he kind of wraps it up. So I've been working on that, and we have all the music done for it. Yeah. And I've been working with a couple of native Latin American Spanish-speaking individuals. It's taken me a long time to find them. I've asked a lot of different people, but it turns out that many Latin Americans are very sensitive, as most people should be, about anything devil related.
Yeah,
and
sure.
God related.
Nope.
So exactly. So I had it. I found somebody to help me, and we've done.
Not afraid to walk on the wild.
Exactly. Not afraid to be damned to eternal hell. But as I told all of them, this is a positive statement.
Right.
It's a positive story.
Right. So we're going to go through the journey. We're not going to stay there.
Right.
So.
Right. But again, there's humor in it.
Yeah.
And there's twists, and there's a story, and
do the story quick, unless you don't want to give it away because it's hilarious.
Yeah. The first story is so the devil is. The question is, God. It seems that. The devil loves the beautiful people, and, the ugly people have nothing because the handsome people took everything. Why does God allow this injustice?
Sure,
right?
Sure.
And it turns out it's because the devil was, got God drunk, fed him nachos with hot sauce. God got the hot sauce in his eyes, and now he can't see injustice.
Perfect.
Right?
Yep.
So then
he's blind to injustice because of the nachos that the devil served him.
Exactly, right. And then the next one was... it's about the poor and hearing the cries of the poor, and the devil writes songs, and it turns out that God likes the devil's songs.
Oh, hey man, let me check out your tunes.
Yeah, and God gave everybody the desire to write, desire to sing, and the desire to play, but he hasn't given the voice or the fingers, right?
Oh, wow.
So the least he could do is, if he gave everybody desire to do this, the least God can do is listen, right?
Right.
So he feels the same way with the devil. So
he goes, yeah, sure, bro.
I'll listen to your song, right? So
nice guy.
But all of a sudden, the devil can actually play, right? And God's like, he writes beautiful songs. I love this. The devil can play, right? So the devil says, no, take my headphones.
You'll love them. You'll love good headphones.
Just you keep them. Keep them. It's like number 16. Like
yeah.
You keep my headphones. Enjoy it.
And they sound great.
Right.
God loves them.
He loves it, and he's wearing them, and he's jamming to it. But they're noise canceling headphones. And that's why he can't hear the cries of the poor, right? Or the devil laughing at him, right?
Yeah. So the devil's.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Yeah. Keep them.
Now, it all sounds funny and silly and all that, but like the music, you're on it, and Joe Boyle's on it.
Right.
Bill Holloman did ridiculous horns for it.
Yeah.
So it's
Crazy.
like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Musically.
So this is your explanation of how God can allow these things.
Right, like why? And then, ultimately God turns the tables, but I won't give away the last one.
Okay, all right.
So I'm
the
working on
devil's nacho or the devil's hot sauce.
Yeah.
The devil's noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's I remember when you first heard those, you were like
Yeah.
you had a good laugh out of those.
Oh yeah. And then you're
I write serious songs too.
Oh no, I know.
And these are serious.
I know. Yeah, I mean, sure. And then you're working on what is it? A comic book or a thing, or there's the graphics thing too.
Yeah. So these songs, kind of lend themselves to a treatment of the lyric. Sure. Illustrated.
Sure.
So I've been illustrating and learning how to illustrate. So I'm making a twisted kids book, if you will.
Sure.
About this whole
not going to sell in Latin America. I'm going to tell you that right now.
But the fact that there's a quick story. I was working. I went to Jefferson Valley to work with this. His name is John Chimbo, who he's a songwriter also. So we've been working. He's helped me with the lyric and make sure I have it, because I had it like 80% there, but there's some, out of Google, you don't get the real world translations.
Sure.
They're more, almost perfect or not street language. So
excuse me, sorry.
So we were working on a tune one day, and we had a waitress who is from South America. We were getting along and having a nice time and everything. At the end of the meal, I said, "Hey, let's ask her, to give this a read and see if it makes sense."
She saw Diablo and she's like, "Gotta go."
Oh, she never came back. Didn't come back for the tip. She was like,
"These guys are devil worshippers. I'm out."
Yeah. And I tried to explain, no, it's
no. You got to get to the end.
And she asked him in Spanish. She's like, "Are you guys going to read this in church?" So
yeah, well. That's funny.
I'm like, come on, I went to Catholic University.
Yeah.
I got some
philosophy. This is the philosophy part, though.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's all right, because that's what you said in the beginning. So you had religion and philosophy.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Brings it back, I suppose so. That's
cool.
a nice little wrap-up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Not bad.
All right, you ready?
Pizza.
Okay. Favorite food, pizza?
Yeah. See, I listen
Wow, we're really moving.
I listen
a fan,
to the podcast.
See?
It's pizza. No, just not the...
Yeah.
Don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's just pizza.
All right. Do you a practicer of your instrument consistently? I mean, you're a highly effective person. Do you actually? I don't
practice. Like, I play songs, and I practice through songs.
Yeah.
And cover songs.
Yeah.
Especially on the piano. Like, I've been learning a lot of Elton John and Billy Joel because, learning like the A over B chords and all that stuff is much more interesting on a piano than on a guitar.
I gotcha.
Because a guitar, you kind of need a bass and a guitar.
Yeah, to make those chords.
Yeah. So I don't practice, but I play all the time.
Cool. Food, we got that out of the way. Desert Island albums.
So here's the Desert Island.
Oh, here we
thing.
go. See, he's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. So the Desert Island thing is this. I'm figuring I'm going to bump into somebody on this desert island, right? And that somebody's definitely going to have the Beatles, and they're definitely going to have Dylan, so I can borrow those, right? So the ones that I would bring are the ones that only I would bring, because nobody else is really going to know them, right?
Fair enough.
Well, maybe not only me, but the first one I'd bring is Billy Joel, A Stranger, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The second one would be the Rainmakers, Flirting with the Universe is the name of the album. Rainmakers, Flirting with the Universe. The third would be Novo Combo, Animation Generation.
Okay.
The fourth would be, as I referenced at the beginning, Health and Happiness Show, Tonic.
Yeah.
And the fifth one would be World Party, Goodbye Jumbo.
Far out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, in terms of the recordings that we've done, the guy, the Rainmakers, there's a guy named Bob Walkenhorst, who's the main writer, or the main writer.
Yeah, I don't know them.
He's like, of my top 5 writers. He's
Oh, wow.
Like, he's like it.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
And then
not
there's
typical.
another guy, Pete Hewlett, who was in Novo Combo and was one of the writers. And I got to know both of them.
Yeah.
And they sang on the first record.
Who's from Pittsburgh? It's that
That's
dude, right?
Yeah. Pete, he knows your uncle.
Hey, far out.
Yeah, how
hey,
about that? Small world.
Yeah, hopefully he'll watch this.
Yeah, I'll send it to him.
Pittsburgh, represent.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. What else? What other questions do I ask? I don't remember. Desert Island album. This.
Yeah, I gave
Food.
you those.
That's pretty much. That might be good.
Yeah.
You think?
I think.
Anything you want to add? You're just gonna.
I got.
I told you, man.
Stories.
This trilogy thing. We're gonna do another edition. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Theoretically, save it. We're gonna do round 2s that are more casual.
Yeah.
Now that we know who people are, we're gonna have some callbacks, and we're just gonna tell stories.
Oh, I got stories.
That'll be it'll be like the after hours or
Yeah.
something. I figure it out.
I got discovered to be on UK Voice at a open mic bingo night in Newcastle.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so there's a
Oh,
story.
that's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That's a good story. That's all true.
Imagine that.
It's all true. And then
They're on a work vacation screwing around.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, you should be on The Voice. Pretty cool.
So I went to Manchester for that. Yeah, so I got all kinds of stories.
Now, when you went to Manchester, no, never mind. I'm thinking of where's Sting from?
Newcastle.
Newcastle. That's where you were too.
Yeah.
Did you do the whole Sting thing, or you don't care as much?
No, I
I would be
Sting's
curious.
Fantastic. I did see his flat.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where his flat was.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
curious enough.
There's some. I'll tell you some stuff off the record about that.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Well, here's your mug.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I treasure.
Would have
this.
gotten anyway. Well,
I treasure this.
whatever.
Yeah, it's got color on it.
It's pretty cool.
It's very nice.
You know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Al, he was here.
You'll see it next time I come.
Yeah, I bet. Look for Al's music. We'll try to get some links up
Yeah, I'll put
to some of your stuff. You know what I mean?
The video certainly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, always a pleasure. Always fun conversations. Always fun working with you, doing things, trying to make things happen that don't exist until we make them.
It's a joy.
Then they exist. Yeah, that's what it's all
joy.
about. I appreciate you coming, especially now with the record show. We're in the middle of Omicron, out of control.
Yeah.
We're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be relatively okay, but
I'm optimistic that the spring is going to release us.
I kind of believe so myself. But we're going to see. But let the record show. We're in the thick of it. Al was brave enough to come here. And I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Dave, thank you. It's great.
Guimaraes.
You got it.
Yeah, Al
Yeah.
Guimaraes.
Now-
I never said your last name. I always avoided it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I didn't know how to
I
say
know
it.
how it is. My first name's Albino. Do you even know
Albino. Yeah, I did.
that? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Albino Guimaraes. Here he is.
There he is.
From Mamaroneck, New York. I appreciate it. Jon Peckman podcast, right? We're good to go. Look for us, right? What else do I have to say? If you want to have your own podcast here, you can.
Yeah.
We have the facility. Listen for Dave at the end of all this, and he'll give you a spiel on how you can do this. Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Jon Peckman podcast. I'm Jon Peckman. Go over the bridge, go through one light, start looking left.
Yeah.
It was fairly accurate, right?
And John just does U-turns.
Yeah, I did.
I tried to follow him over here. It was crazy.
How did you know? Al Guimaraes. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks, kids. Stay tuned. Be safe. Be careful. What did I miss? That is all. Oh, I have to say that
I
is all.
think you mispronounced my name there at the end.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, we'll edit it. All right. That is all. See you later, kids.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.